तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Together we'll chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verses 11 to 20.
अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुम् मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागम् ततः कुरु यतात्मवान्। श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानाध्यानम् विशिष्यते। ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः त्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम्। अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च। निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी। सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः। मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः। यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोकः लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः। हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः। अनपेक्षः शुचिर्दक्षः उदासीनो गतव्यथः। सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः। यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति। शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान्यः स मे प्रियः। समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः। शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समः सङ्गविवर्जितः। तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतस्थिरमतिः भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदम् यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्दधाना मत्परमाः भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः.
Welcome to a bright Diwali morning. Happy Diwali to everybody. People keep asking me how many people are there in the class. I think this number is what we should say, because they are those who are going to come regardless of what is going on around. So I think we should now say 27 people are there in our class because they're serious students. And of course, some who will listen in a little while online. Sorry, my voice is going away today, but we'll manage as best we can. So, what were our questions? I understand that 8 questions have been sent to Bharat. Question 1. How do we empathize with others? Is empathy part of Bhakti Yoga or the result of Bhakti Yoga? Deep Raj. How do we empathize with others? Is empathy part of Bhakti Yoga or result? How do we empathize with others? We empathize with others when, in terms of causal relationships, when your desires have reduced. Because when your desires are playing, you can't be bothered what anybody else is feeling or thinking or doing. You're too caught up in the way you think. So what happens when desires reduces, that universal affection starts. I mean, to the extent they reduce, you start feeling one with others, you start loving others. This is the result. Now, love in itself is a great teacher. Because the more you love somebody, the more you're able to understand what that person is talking about or trying to say or feeling, like how a mother understands the child. Okay, so she comes from a position of understanding because of her love. Now, this is a very interesting word. I'm always fascinated by this English word understanding, because understanding is so interesting. Understanding means I understand something. Okay, I understand mathematics. You can use it like that. Understanding also means you're understanding towards people. And that's why this word is so fascinating, because it's sort of, in English usage, if you understand, you are understanding. If you understand somebody, then you are very understanding towards that person. You understand why they are behaving the way they are. You make justifications for their behavior. When you don't understand, you say, oh, what a horrible person. They have all negative intentions. You accuse people of negative intentions because that love is absent. That is why in olden times, devotion to the teacher was considered to be one of the most important parts of the spiritual sadhana. I mean, that was like a non-negotiable. Now, if you stop and think about why is this devotion to the teacher such a big thing in life? Because one of the ways in which you understand is when there is love. So sometimes when the teacher is saying things just not comprehensible, you understand because you love the person. Love directed to the higher, as you know, is a devotion. So you become, you understand a little bit more because of love. Now you may say, what causal relationship is there that you'll understand more? The causal relationship is when you are loving towards somebody, your mind is peaceful. it takes away agitation, and therefore your intellect thinks better. So how do you empathize? Coming back to your original question, is by the way is reduction of desire. In other words, you are more important to me than what I am feeling. When this is my condition, then I will have empathy. Now, is this the part of Bhakti Yoga, or is it the result of Bhakti Yoga? I probably neither, because it's the result of all the three yogas. All the three yogas have to land us in that position. Is it part of Bhakti Yoga? Yes, insofar as you use affection to develop, insofar as you're doing that you are you're making a conscious attempt to be loving. So, I mean, each one of us have a little band where we can be a little more loving or a little less loving. So when you're trying to be a little more loving, then of course you're using emotions to grow, so it will come into Bhakti Yoga. So in a very limited sense, you could use it like that. But in Jnana also it would be the same thing, no? Because imagine you're doing Jnana, you say, I understand this person, I've assessed this person, but you're not understanding towards that person. That means what assessment have you got? Right? And similarly in karma, if you're saying that I'm working with all these people and you feel nothing for them, like they could live or die, doesn't matter to you, then you're not doing karma in the sense of cooperative endeavor, working together, we are all a team, we are all in this together. So in all three, actually, it will come. So is it part of Bhakti Yoga? Yes, in this limited way, it's part of Bhakti Yoga, but it's also part of the other yogas. You can't say I'm working with everybody and feel nothing for them. Then how can you work together with? Or I understand you have assessed you, but I feel nothing. Then also. Okay.
So the feeling will naturally develop.
Wherever the intellect goes, the mind will follow. It has no option. It's like the sort of walls. It's like the banks of a river. Wherever the banks are, the river has to go. It doesn't have an option.
Janaki, my question one. This just now you said, since desires are after exhausting the desires, the bonding will be more in the seniors. It is the same desire which causes if the seniors have not exhausted their desires. Like the clashes between in-laws and daughter-in-law, son-in-law.
Bhargavi, I don't mean to interrupt, but this seniors you have added. Where did seniors come from? When you grow up, doesn't mean you grow up in age.
Senior means I am telling myself, I am about to get married, my son. So when the daughter-in-law comes, if my desires are not exhausted, then there will be clashes between the juniors and the seniors in the house. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it practically, then why will there be a clash between you and your daughter-in-law when she comes, if there is a clash? Because
no, as we have seen in the society.
I know. So why? Because in your mind at the moment, this is your house.
Yes.
You have set certain rules. You have decided that we do this first, then we do that. You have all this in your head. You have a certain system, a certain pattern. You have set it over these years. Chai ka dabba yahan rahega, or like sugar ka dabba wahan rahega, or Mondays ko hum log ye khayenge. Whatever. You set some pattern in your house. Now this girl who's coming into your house, every time in her own house, she told her mother ki aise karenge, waise karenge. We will move the fridge from this side to that side, whatever in the world, new generation, new ideas. Then her mother has been telling her, this is my house. When you go to your own house, you do whatever you want.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, when she comes to your house, she will come with, this is my house now, finally. I can do whatever I want. Right? So this is the clash. You think
Yes.
this is my house, I will do what I want. She thinks this is my house, I will do whatever I want. Both will see it from their perspectives and feel completely justified.
Mm.
But when there is some basic affection, some understanding, you say, yes, this is what she has been brought up with. Yes, this is what she must have thought as she steps into the house. And you're careful in how you present things to her or how you talk to her because you understand where she's going to be coming from.
Mhm.
Okay. Or as a young bride, she will want to be with her husband. As a mother, you are used to your son being around for whatever it is he has been. These are where all these clashes take place. So once you understand it from the other person's perspective, then there's cooperation, then there is understanding, then there is harmony.
Yes.
So don't say just desires. You have to, when we're talking causality, we talk like that. But when we're talking practical, we have to use a different language.
Yeah. It was an eye opener. Very, very nice. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Some people, they are very, not critical, but they tell me, I like the fact that they tell me, they say that, they don't attend the class, and the reason they don't attend the class, you make it too simple. Okay, but if you don't make it applicable, I don't see how it's going. Suppose we don't answer a question from the perspective a person asks, then how is it going to benefit them? It's beyond my understanding, but I do keep trying to think, am I oversimplifying things that people
Very
already
easy to understand and follow. Oversimplification is what, like ABCD. We have to learn ABCD to continue with the words and sentence. It was really very eye opener and it touched my heart how I should be. Thank you so much.
But it is one criticism that I hear, so I'm just sharing with you. Both ways, people will criticize. That's very funny. If you say all talk of Atman level, then they'll say, I can't listen to you because you only talk of Atman level. If you explain, then they say, I can't listen to you because you're too simple. Kare to kya kare yahan pe? But anyway, it is a sort of cooperation between the speaker and those who listen to try and take this knowledge and make the most of it in terms of actual life. Because nobody's perfect, nobody's going to teach perfectly, nobody's going to study perfectly, but we sort of cooperate and get our act forward in terms of our growth. Komal, you have something on this?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Happy Diwali to everybody. Just because you were sharing about this getting married and all, this is what it was used to follow. After Grahastha, you need to move to Vanaprastha. So when my son got married just last 2 years back, we already decided that we'll be moving away and we'll give the charge to them. And if it is not possible to move away physically, so let's move mentally away, so that they can have their own grahastha. Now we let us be in Vanaprastha. And now when they are getting a child, like 10 days back, I became a grandmother. So
Yes.
I'm again back to support them, but not to interfere in their life. That's what I followed, and it was quite successful. Me and my husband, after getting a son married, we moved away and we said, go, now it is your house, you take care. And if any help required, you let us know and we will come and help you. That we followed, and it was good, successful.
Very good. So this should be the way of all relationships. I am there to help you. You want my help, please ask.
Support is there and not any interference, and not that
Only
I
thing
am
is
the one.
be careful about the term Vanaprastha, because some people mean by it resignation. So yes,
No.
I will live my life, you live your life, we'll both be happy in our own lives. And we are always there for each other.
No, if required, we are together. Like mentally, we are together. If it is need to be, we move away.
Yes, correct. Let them handle their own affairs.
Yes. Thank you.
Janki ma'am, Hariom, in the same context of Bhargavi, suppose she is now attending the classes, she knows little bit about this Vedanta and how to do. But the other side also, when the daughter-in-law comes, she is not aware anything. but there will be a certain percentage like to agree for all the things because she is not aware. Maybe she is not cooperative in all the times. Then how this has to be understood? The people coming from.
If you learn Vedanta, nobody around you needs to know it. Because you are handling it. You understand, you have no demands, and you are understanding. The problem is our digestion of Vedanta is incomplete when the challenge is more. You see, I can handle, like suppose we are all doing karma together. Like, okay, you have whatever, you have done whatever you have done, and then you had to coordinate with Bharat or Mahesh or whatever. Now, you all are both working towards the same end. You're both trying to, work for the trust or whatever you all are doing. And then you cooperate and you work. Then once in a while, somebody does something to irritate you. Then you just take it in your stride and move on. Now, as the challenges go up, like the other person becomes more and more of a challenge to us, our Vedanta goes away. The problem is that while Vedanta goes away means we don't step back and think, how best do I handle this situation? And if I don't know, then let me ask people who might know. Like, see, Bhargavi, for instance, she has said, okay, I'm about to enter a situation. I should have some understanding of how I'm entering that situation. Yesterday, I had a long conversation with one of the class members, also entering a situation. So you have already understood you're about to enter something where there is the possibility of disagreement. So you are step one. I have done the basics. Now when the person comes, I will learn new things because so much I know. Now I'm going to learn more. Human beings always are throwing some surprise or the other at us. And then slowly, you keep thinking it through and doing it for the welfare of, if it's the family, then, or if it's the company, you're thinking it through and you are working. So your two principles are always unselfishness and correct assessment. I'm doing it with the whole in mind for the welfare of everyone, and I'm assessing you as an individual correctly. So when we have these two things, then it becomes easier and easier for us to handle more and more difficulty. And also identify that these are difficult people. Sometimes we make the mistake of thinking it's all my fault. No, somebody can be a very difficult individual. I mean, some people in the class have had like really difficult people to deal with. So I have to identify this is a difficult person. That means I must restrict contact. So you've thought everything through properly. But if one person knows Vedanta, the whole thing will be taken care of.
Thank you.
Ma'am, what two things you told? First is the assessment, and the second is assessing the individual rightly. And the second you told, actually, I didn't get it.
Unselfishness.
Unselfishness towards world, I think you told something.
Unselfishness towards that area. Suppose it's your, I don't know whether to say daughter-in-law, mother-in-law to you. It's difficult for me to say. But if you have whatever, your family, let us say, or your principal, or your colleagues, or your class members, wherever you're functioning, there. So if it's in the family, then you care about the family. If it's about the college, then you care about the college, or about education, or whatever. You're unselfish in your ideals. If it's your building, then the society. Do you live in a building? You live in bungalows, building, whatever. In Bangalore, what do you all live in? Buildings or bungalows?
It is independent house.
Independent houses. So your area then, whatever both of you are part of. Got it? If it's a football team, then the football team. Whatever it is you both are part of. So you're unselfish means you care about that thing, that arena, that field. And you assess people in it correctly. So 2 factors are your basic principles in relationships.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bhargavi, when we can't live day-to-day life in a simple way, how to rise to spiritual level? Bhargavi, they're both the same thing. When you live your day-to-day life properly, you're living at a spiritual level. So far, I have lived stupidly. After joining Janki's class, we have to learn to be wise, practical Vedanta. Yes, after learning Vedanta, we all get our heads back on our shoulders. But we couldn't have lived entirely stupidly, otherwise you will not reach Vedanta. It's simple in life. Momita, it will help focus on one's own growth rather than a desired outcome for an upcoming situation. No, Momita, you don't focus like that on your own growth. You have to figure out what you need to focus on this in this situation. What you're saying, it's a very common thing that people do. They say, okay, the result doesn't matter. I'm focused on my growth. Not at all. If you didn't achieve the result, there is no growth. You have to achieve the result. And in the process of achieving the result, you will have grown. Because achieving the result means you're engaged, right? You're engaging your intellect.
Right. So the 2 steps you said were one is correct assessment, and the second is
Unselfishness.
unselfishness. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Bhargavi. In all situations, the same basic truths apply. Always dangerous to ask a question on relationships because then nobody else can ask any other question. Okay. All right. So we're okay with this one. Then we'll move to the next question. Question 2. Reference Bhakti Yoga. In chapter 12, what is the meaning of the phrase, better than meditation is renunciation of the fruit of action? Mahesh. Better than meditation is renunciation of the fruit of action. Better than giving part of the verse, it's better to give the full verse, Mahesh. The full verse. Can you read out the full verse? This is Mahesh. Oh, there you are. Can you read the full verse?
Yeah, I'll have to just open it. One moment.
Go ahead. Because you read and came, no? The rest of the class doesn't. Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Right.
better. Oh, he's put it.
So better indeed is knowledge than practice. What do we mean that better is knowledge than practice? Given the fact that obviously practice is better than knowledge. If you didn't practice it, then what kind of knowledge are you talking about? But he's saying better than knowledge is practice. Shreyo jnanam abhyasat. Abhyasat means than abhyas. Better, he says, is jnanam. Now this you know is false. Suppose a person knows so much, but he can do nothing. Is it of any use? But still, the Lord makes the statement, then knowledge is better than abhyas, better than practice. Now, what does that mean? That means rather than doing mechanical rituals, it's better to have knowledge. Like mechanical rituals means you do anything mechanically. So better than doing things mechanically, it's better to do them with knowledge. Then jnanat dhyanam vishishyate. Better than knowledge or excel. Vishishyate means excels. So better than jnanat, than knowledge. Jnanat, it's the chaturthi, it's the 4th case ending, where it says than knowledge. What is better? Dhyanam. Dhyanam is better than knowledge. What does that mean? That means that single pointed attention is better than knowing. Single pointed attention on your goal is better than simply understanding, right? And you can take this all the way up to single pointed attention on the self. So that will be the actual state of meditation, which is sitting down and meditating and on Om, 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 or whatever your Ishta mantra is, and reaching the self, meditating on the self. Then he says, Dhyanam. Better than Dhyanam is what? Karma phala tyaga. Renunciation of fruit of action. Now, in meditation, what is the fruit of action?
The self.
The self. So when you're in the seat of meditation, do not get obsessed with self-realization. Otherwise, you will not obtain it. Just like when you put your head on the pillow at night, do not be obsessed with sleeping. Otherwise, you will not sleep. You have to drop the thought of sleep to sleep. Okay, Mahesh, so far so good?
Yeah. I mean, the reason I asked is the question.
No, I'm not
Okay,
finished. Just so
okay.
far so good.
Yeah.
Much clear.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Now, karma phala tyagaha is a quality that is required for us throughout the spiritual sadhana. Because at any stage in this journey, we will have some karma phalam, right? We will have some phal we want, some goal that we have set for ourselves. So, by focusing obsessively on that goal, you will not achieve it. When the action starts, you have to give up that goal and do the action, because the action will take you to the end, not your thinking about the goal. Right? So now in this, if you take it like this, then karma phala tyagaha is the most important part, because the whole journey you'll require it, and you'll require it right up to the very end. Even the last thought, you will have to employ the same technique which you have used throughout. So he says better than meditation. Why better than meditation? Because meditation you're going to do at the end of the journey. But karma phala tyaga you're going to do right now. And Arjuna doesn't need to sit down and meditate. He needs to do karma phala tyaga. He needs to give up the fruit of action and function in this world. So he says the best of this whole journey is that you're able to give up the fruit of action and perform the right action. Okay, Mahesh?
Yes, just one clarification. Is the renunciation that we start doing on Saturday class different from renunciation of fruit of action?
Yes and no. Renunciation of fruit of action is only a part of total renunciation. It's a part of it. It's one aspect of it.
Because I believe, Deepraj you had answered to Deepraj that meditation is higher than renunciation. And I had asked you that this verse says renunciation is higher than meditation. So I was a little confused. I mean, if this renunciation is part of renunciation, that means it is renunciation, then why is renunciation not considered higher than meditation?
You're taking it all very literally. That's why I went through the whole verse to explain what each part of it is. I know that you're taking it so literally. That's why understand it in context. We're talking poetry here. We're not talking. He's not using the same word renunciation here to mean exactly the same thing that he meant over there. It's not mathematics. This is poetry. So in every context, you understand what is he talking about. And if you understand the context, then you don't have this problem.
Okay, then it's fine. Thank you.
Janki ji, a question on the previous question. So, in the first part, we say that understanding is better than mechanical action. But at some level, if we are very tamasic, then even mechanical action is helpful. if provided we are not we are not looking for the result and we're just following good advice of a teacher.
Yes, so yeah, but then you'll have to add one more phrase. Mechanical action is better than no action.
Right.
But better
Okay.
than mechanical action is knowing action. I mean, you understood and you did.
Right. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Isn't mechanical action and no action both fall under the tamasic category?
Yeah, not in the same category. I mean, depends now. You'll have to add more data, but no action is the lowest form of tamas. Mechanical action or criminal action, or like the different grades of actions will then, you could call them tamas, but then they're still better. No action is the worst of them. The lowest. And you're doing nothing. Crime to karo, kuch to karo, it's like that. Or mechanical actions, something you do.
Got it. Thank you.
Question 3. It is said that the bhakta loves the Lord. 2 questions in this regard. 1. What does the Lord refer to? Is it the self? Can it refer to personalities like Rama, Krishna, etc.? Yes, Mahesh, it can refer to personalities. Not only it can, it usually does. When the person is doing bhakti yoga, he is usually associating with some personality. And 2, what does love entail? Is it development of the 35 qualities? But there does not seem to be any Lord in them. What does love entail? Is it the development of the 35 qualities? Yes. There doesn't seem to be a Lord there is not true, because please understand the causal relationship here. Because he loves the Lord, he has the 35 qualities. So only if you have the 35 qualities can you claim to love the Lord. The causal relationship is when your thoughts are on the higher, you become disinterested in the lower. That's the causal relationship.
So, till you develop the 35 qualities, you can't love the Lord. Is that what? Yeah.
Putting the cart before the horse. Till you love the Lord, you will not develop the 35 qualities. You can love the Lord. No? If you don't love the Lord, how will you love all beings? When you love the Lord and you see all beings as his creation, why won't you love them? If you love Radhika, when Radhika was a little girl, then she drew something and she said, Kaka, Kaka, see my lovely aeroplane or whatever it is she drew. Then did you say, oh, Radhika, what a foolish aeroplane is this? Did you ever say that? You said, oh, what a wonderful aeroplane Radhika has drawn. Then you may go and show it to others also and say, see, this Radhika, she draws such a beautiful aeroplane. And what is that aeroplane? It is like one sort of elongated oval with 2 V's. And that's an aeroplane. But you are excited that Radhika drew an aeroplane. So when you love somebody, whatever they do, whatever they make, whatever they create, you think that's fantastic.
So, what is the concept of loving, say, Pandurang? I mean, what exactly? Loving his creation is one thing, but what does it mean by saying you love Vitthal or Pandurang?
Mahesh, you cannot answer that question. What do you mean? Suppose I ask Deepraj. Deepraj, what do you mean that you love your girlfriend? Can he answer this question? As what do you mean, Mahesh, when you say you love? I don't know what you love, Mahesh.
Facebook.
Facebook, okay. What can anyone answer this question? What does it mean when you say? You have to stop thinking meaning when you say love. Love is a feeling. There's no meaning. You just happen to love it. So what's that? You love Facebook. Then how can we explain what is this love for Facebook?
So you could love it like they say the various kinds of love. You could love him as a friend, as a lover, as a child, as a mother. So you have some sort of this kind of love for the Lord. Is that what you're saying?
Do not apply your intellect there, please. All this is unnecessary analysis. You love Pandurang, then you love Pandurang, full stop. If
No,
Vitthal
but
only means something to you, then it means something to you. That's that.
no, but the bhav is categorized as, I mean, the love for a friend is different from a love for a lover. So in
Yeah,
that
it's
sense,
all unnecessary. It's unnecessary analysis. I mean, I
okay.
know that this kind of bhakti and that kind of bhakti, this is people who do bhakti and have some intellect. They want to also apply their intellect. Why will they not? But it's not really necessary to have all these distinctions. You love
Okay,
the
that's
Lord,
fine.
full stop. If you see the Lord, I mean, you love the Lord as a child, then well, so be it. And if you love the Lord as a lover, then well, so be it. Whatever it is, you love somebody or something in your particular manner. And why would anyone have any view? You feel what you feel. That's that. And when you do feel what you feel properly, and you're doing it correctly, your yardstick is that these qualities have to grow. If you say, I love the Lord very much, and then what has grown in you, you have become a terrorist. Then Krishna says, watch it, Baba. Not, this doesn't look like love because you are spoiling my creation.
Okay, and this final clarification, this Lord is Saguna Brahman, right?
Yeah, but the Bhakta doesn't think Saguna Brahma. He loves Vittal Mauli. That's it. What do you have to
But
say
he
about
said,
Saguna Brahma and
I
put all
prefer to
sorts of
enjoy
analysis
sugar
in it?
than, I
Sorry?
prefer to enjoy sugar than become sugar. So, I mean, in that sense,
I can't hear you. What did you say?
he says that I prefer to enjoy sugar than become sugar. That's what the Bhakta says. So, in that sense, uh, I mean, he's enjoying Saguna Brahman, right? I mean, what else can it be?
Yes, but all this the Bhakta doesn't say. This is all these
Yeah, but
people
as a jnani, I'm
analyzing what the
asking.
Bhakta says. Bhakta's life is simple. He loves the Lord. Now everybody comes. It's like somebody writes a book. Shakespeare writes a book. Then everybody comes along and he says so many things about which may be true, which may not be true. The Bhakta is only love. He doesn't do all this analysis. Oh, is it Saguna Brahma? Is it not? This is what the college philosophers do when they are analyzing somebody's Bhakti Yoga. This is not Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is I love the Lord. Simple, plain, clear, just love. That's
But
it.
what does the jnani say? Is it Saguna Brahman?
Yeah, Brahman, Jnani will say Saguna Brahman. But why
Okay.
are we bothered what Jnani says about the Bhakta? Let the poor Bhakta live his life nicely.
No, I just wanted to sort of be what is the clarity that Saguna Brahman is part of Advaita. That's the only thing that the reason I asked.
There is nothing that is not part of Advaita. Everything
Okay.
is part of Advaita, all the way from Hatha Yoga. And when you say it's part of Advaita, what do you mean? You mean you understand the relative placement of different things on the spiritual path. There is not one level which is Advaita Vedanta. The whole path is Advaita Vedanta. Insofar as you understand each thing, like Momita just said, that mechanical action is still better than no action. So here is a person in no action. And then for him, mechanical action is better. That's part of Advaita, right? A person is doing nothing. So he goes to Hatha Yoga, which is like forced. Forced is better than inaction. So now I say, oh, Hatha Yoga is part of all this force and horrible things they make you do. Is that part of Advaita? Yes, insofar as you understand the relative placement of each thing in this entire journey. And you understand the relative placement when you understand all the causal relationships. So, in that sense, it's part of Advaita. Okay?
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much.
Milind, how to enhance your skills in Bhakti Yoga? How will a devotional person enhance his skills in Bhakti Yoga? Milind, how to enhance your skills in Bhakti Yoga? Simply do it. If you feel that you lack in Bhakti, so then you decide what you would like to do, whether you'd like to have an idol, whether you would like to sing bhajans, whether you would like to listen to classical music, whatever it is you want to take, you want to go on a pilgrimage, whatever it is, each person in their tradition has something. So, so a Muslim may have a certain way of increasing his love for the Lord. A Christian has other ways, a Hindu has other way. And Hindu also, you cannot say every sect in Hinduism has its own way of doing these things. So whatever is your tradition, whatever you feel something about, you do that. As you do more and more of it, your skill in it, as you call it, improves. In other words, you get better at whatever you do. Now, how do you know you've gotten better? You check with the help of the 35 quality. And am I doing this right? Then obviously I will be more loving towards everybody. I will be more compassionate. I will not have this very strong sense of possession towards everything. I'll be silent to the happenings of the world. I can't say I'm a bhakta, but I'm everything that happens, I have a reaction. Can't be, right? Because my only thing is it anything to do with the Lord? That's Bhakti Yoga. Because anything happens in a bhakta's life, he thinks of the Lord. So as you do it, the skill enhances. Just do it, whatever it is, which is inspiring to you, what brings up your emotions. If you are a Maharashtrian and you believe in Vitthal Maudi, then you can pray to Vitthal Maudi, go to Anandi, go to, what's the other place? To Anandi and?
Pandharpur.
Pandharpur, thank you. Go to Anandi, go to Pandharpur, have the idol in your house, sing bhajans, listen to the abhangas, whatever. If you're North Indian, you love the idea of Vaishno Devi, then go to Vaishno Devi, sing the bhajans, do Mata Ki Chauki, whatever it is. If you're a South Indian, then go to Tirupati Balaji, have the murti, whatever is part of your tradition, just do it. The more you do it, the better you get at it. Okay, Milind?
Madam, just wanted to add here, Alok sir had come for 1 month, chapter 12. While he reads this 35 qualities, he said it's difficult to initially have all the 35. You start with any one which is closest to you're able to do. Then it follows the principle in physics. We have, different shape of funnel. Eventually the water will find its own level. So start with one, the other 34 will start coming to you, and eventually it may time, but you'll get all the 35.
Yes, if
That's
you
what
get
he had.
even one of those qualities.
Starting
all
with
the
one.
others-
Starting with one.
No, even if you get one, the others will equalize. Just do at least one first. Kuch bhi karo, but karo kuch to sahi. So as any one quality improves, the other qualities will also improve. So that's what he said. Water seeks its own level.
Janki ji, in Chandwaniji's question, it seemed to me, he said, do one of the things and the others will follow. But just some time ago, we discussed that all these qualities are the result, not the cause. I'm now getting confused. I mean, what do you mean by do the thing?
Do in every part of the sadhana, there is a little bit of leeway you're getting. So suppose you're getting angry with somebody and you remind yourself, oh my God, I have to love everybody. And you stick with that idea a little bit. You can't do it completely. You can't love somebody you don't love. But you get a little leeway, right? So that little leeway which you get, please use it.
Okay. And one more question. The Lord is talking to somebody who's deluded, who's in a very agitated state of mind. and he's giving answers which require so much of analysis. What is the cause? What is the effect? I mean, I wonder whether this kind of, was Arjuna, of course, with his state of mind, was he in this position of understanding what is the cause, what is the effect? Because the Lord gives his answer, those who have these qualities are dear to me. And now we just understood those who are dear to the Lord will have these qualities. I mean, it's so confusing, even after thought.
No, why? They're both saying the same thing. Those who have these qualities are dear to me. Dear means near. Near means real life, as close to the self. Same idea. Why is it different? And please don't forget that this conversation was held 5,000 years ago. The education system of this country had already taught. See, Arjuna's asking questions, right? Tell me what is Shara, Akshara. Tell me what is it, karma. He's asking you all these questions. That means he's familiar with all these terms. He's not like us starting from scratch, kuch pata hi nahi, our culture is gone long time ago. This is a conversation. It's difficult for us, but for Arjuna, he can understand at least intellectually what is going on. And when he doesn't, he asks a question. So that means he is with the conversation, right?
Right. Got it. Thank you.
Question 6. Omkar. The path of progression to the Lord, as it seems to be suggested in this chapter, is meditation, if not meditation, spiritual disciplines, if not spiritual disciplines, surrender all actions to the Lord, if not possible, keep goal of self-realization while acting in the world. It's not goal of self-realization, Omkar, it's self-purification. The lowest is self-purification. Why is this turned upside down and given as choosing by negation and not as a step-up path of progression? Goal of realization in the mind while acting in the world, surrender all actions to the Lord, spiritual disciplines, and meditation. Is this akin to saying if you can't do your PhD, do your master's, if not master's, do your bachelor's, if not bachelor's, go to school? Yes, correct. It is akin to saying that. Why does he say it like that? Because he's writing poetry. This is all poetry. It's written like that. It's all very beautiful and nicely said. Now imagine he write a thesis or what? He's writing a poem. In the poem, he goes in the backward direction. It's just a literary device. And not only it's a literary device, when we are more attuned to our culture, we also see that throughout the Upanishads, throughout all the text, they always speak the highest first. Like Ishavasya midagum sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magradha kasya swidhanam. First line of Ishavasya Upanishad. What does he say? He says the whole thing is Brahman. Ishavasya midagum sarvam. Isha means the Lord. The Lord provides all this. Yat kinchit jagatyam jagat. Whatever is moving, whatever is not moving, the whole thing is just pervaded by the Lord. That's the first statement. First statement, you're starting with this. Then second statement. Tena tyaktena bhunjita. Kasya swidhanam. Tena tyaktena bhunjita. May you enjoy by renunciation. Whose wealth is it anyway? First sentence, meditation. Second sentence, renunciation. Third sentence, if you can't do this, act in the world. You'd think, start with action, na? That was, you won't even explain action. You say, just do action. If I can't renounce, I do action. What action? When action? How action? Nah. And fourth sentence, if you can't do either of these, you're going to hell. Arey Baba. What? I mean, like, what happened over here? And then what? You read it and you say, what? Can't you go step by step? Tell me properly, where do I start? Where do I proceed? How do I reach the top? This is tradition, that you start with the highest and you come down. Now, why do we start at the highest and come down? This is a cultural thing for us. People who go to the Himalayas in pursuit of the ultimate truth, they have already done all their sadhana. They are in complete control of themselves. And they've reached a realized master, let us say, and the master starts. What does he start with? All masters, they start with, even till today we start with that. It's pointless, but we start with it anyway. What do we start with?
I am not the body, mind, intellect.
What do we start every class with?
Chant.
What is the first word every class starts with?
Om.
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 Now, why are we starting with Om? Because traditionally, suppose the student has finished all his work and he's now come in the presence of the master. The master just has to say Om and the student will realize. So why is that first? That should come at the end. No, first, because we will not waste the time of the person who is prepared. If after Om you're still sitting, then you're told Tattvamasi, you are the self. If you're still sitting, then you're given the further explanation. Otherwise, you leave. No, you heard the truth, now you go. So the idea is we don't waste the time of the prepared students. Got it, Omkar? That's why it goes everywhere you'll find, goes in the opposite direction. These are for higher textbooks. Lower textbooks will go properly from the beginning. A human being is made up of body, mind, intellect. Body is made up of action, whatever. These are lower textbooks. Higher textbooks straight, highest. Won't talk lower only. That's why, Mahesh has questions like, is this part of Advaita Vedanta? Why does he ask this question? Because he's read textbooks of Vedanta and there's no question of all this explanation. Straight away, the truth, that's it. If you can't understand that Brahman, Satya, Jagat, Mithya, forget it. Close your book, go home. So most of the higher textbooks, they talk like that. That's why he's saying, is this part of Vedanta? It's part of explanation. Okay, Omkar?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. So Kalyan has a question.
Yeah, Kalyan?
Yeah. It's related to what the 4 stages which Omkar was mentioning. The first stage is that you still pursue your desires, but without focusing on the fruit of action.
Yeah, you are interested in self-development.
Yeah, self-development. So there's
Because
nothing
you can't
lower.
ever say don't do something. You have to say do something.
Okay. No, in my view, that itself is very difficult. There's nothing lower than that as a starting stage.
Yeah, the lowest starting stages, you focus on unselfishness, working for a higher cause. From there, you go to working for self-purification. And the reason you go there is because you understand that, even when I'm serving others, there's a certain sense of superiority in me. Like now we go nowadays to ask everybody for CSR. Now, who do they want to help? They will say, are you poor? Are you downtrodden? Have you not got enough, it's all about dealing with lower. So they don't get this idea only. So they all want to, if somebody said, talk to this Rotary Club, they are giving so much money. I talked to them and they said to me, like all these people say, but who are the poor people you're helping? What poor people you're helping? Only monetarily they understand. Now, why is that? Because in unselfishness itself, there is a assumed superiority. I am here, I am better, I am giving you, you are lower. Once you understand this, then you are not interested in that and you're interested in self-purification. But self-purification itself has a limitation. That what self-purification, to what end, to what purpose? So when you understand that, then you go to self-realization. So slowly as you climb the ladder, as the disadvantages of the lower start occurring to you. didn't hear a word you said, Karan.
Okay, some problem again.
Now
Can
I
you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm saying in the first stage also, when he says continue with your desires, then how can desires drop off when you're continuing to pursue and go to the next stage?
Because you're working with an unselfish mode, in an unselfish mode. You're working so that you benefit and others benefit. It's called cooperative endeavor. So like you want, let us say, a clean street outside your house. You want a good street. So you say, okay, let's work for this clean street. You organize everybody, you get everybody into the program, and then you'll all get together and clean the street, and your street is clean, which is what you want, and you have worked cooperatively with everybody else, so you become a what should I say, more a better person, which is what you're trying to achieve in the first place, or at least what Vedanta says we have to achieve in the first place. So as you start
So that leads to slow reduction of,
you start seeing other people's perspectives, no?
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So there's one question left. How many questions left, Omkar?
Two more.
Okay, so two more sounds like a lot. So we will close here and we'll take them up next time. Okay. Hari Om.
Thank you, madam. Happy Diwali, madam, to you and